So let's get ourselves started. Come on over to your mat. We're actually going to begin on our backs today. So come on down. If getting up and down is a challenge for you, you can have a chair nearby you to assist you in getting up and down, or a lifted tabletop, whatever is in your space. And we'll come on down. And again, for those of you who are new to me, I am recovering from a broken wrist. So there are some poses and shapes that I will be modifying. And I really encourage you to do the same as well. If there are any poses or shapes that I move us to that are not working with your body today, or you're dealing with a physical or emotional injury, you can always modify, you can always adjust to support your body's needs. And it may be a modification that I offer you, and it may be something that you create on your own. Feeling free to rest whenever you'd like in any resting pose. So let's come on down to our backs to begin. Let your spine settle. And let's take our feet about as wide as our yoga mat and let the knees fall in at center here in constructive rest. Just take a moment to really feel the spine releasing down. Soften your jaw. And if you're comfortable, you can have your hands on your belly. If that doesn't feel good or safe for you, keep your hands beside your body. And again, if it's comfortable, allow your eyes to close, bringing your attention inward. Otherwise, soften your gaze. And this practice that we will take here on our backs, I'd love to introduce it to you. We won't be able to spend a ton of time with it, but just would love to introduce this practice to you so that maybe you can practice on your own in your life when you have a little bit more space and time. Perhaps you've practiced this before. For some of us, it can well up a lot of emotion, and that's okay. You're a human being, you're allowed to have emotions, so feel free to let that come up for yourself. Just start to settle into the breath and the body breathing. Feeling the back ribs expand on the floor. And just know if it ever becomes too much, you can come back to the awareness of the body breathing and focus your attention here. So here we'll start to bring our attention and our mind to the people in our lives. And it may be people, it may be animals. That's okay as well. But those beings in our lives that love us. Just bring the image of those beings to mind. Those people, those animals, whatever it is, who have shown you love and compassion. And it may not be all the time, but moments of it. And just take a moment to reflect on the image of them, and the sensation of taking in that love. is that located in your body? Where do you feel that? Accepting that love, that offering that they've given you. What are the sensations in your body when we bring that to mind? Okay, see if we can just keep that. Find that place in your body and revisit it whenever you'd like. So noticing what that offers you. You are loved. And then from here, allow the eyes to open, a nice soft focus for the eyes. And take your feet back to about hip width apart. And from here, start to tilt your hip points towards the ribs, knees up towards the ceiling. Lift the hips up, feeling length in your hip flexors. Engaging through your glutes and your hamstrings. And as you exhale, roll back down. Adjust your feet however you'd like, further away from you or closer to you or wider or more narrow. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lowering down. One more time. Inhale, lifting up. And exhale, lowering down. Now from here, take your hands to your thighs and just take a moment to gently touch your body, rub, give yourself a little massage. Just notice how it feels to connect a little bit more physically, tactily to your body. And then nice and slowly letting that go. Hug your knees into your chest. Give the knees a good little squeeze. Rock gently from side to side. Give your spine a little massage. Take your left foot down. Extend your right leg up towards the ceiling. Now the leg doesn't need to be straight. You can have a bend into your knee. That's perfectly fine. And then just experiment with rotating the hip open and close. Open and close. It might be a tiny movement for you. It might be a little bit bigger. That's okay. See if as you close the hip, you can also slightly find an internal rotation. So we're slightly rotating that foot in towards the center of the body. Good. And then we'll let that go. Give the leg a little shake and switch sides. Plant that right foot down. Extend your left leg and rotate open and close. Again, you can have as much of a bend into your knee as you'd like. And find the rotation on either end. So rotating open, but also finding an internal rotation, rotating in. So almost like you're pigeon toeing. Good. And then we'll slowly let that go. Give your leg a little shake out. From here, hug your knees into your chest. Give your knees a good little squeeze. And we'll come up to our hands and our knees here. So you can either roll to the side to come up, or if you'd like, gently roll forward and back on your spine, getting a nice little massage. And then rooting your palms down, come on up to your hands and your knees. Tabletop position. Wrists are under the shoulders, knees are underneath your hips. Take a moment to spread your fingers nice and wide and move through some cats and cows. So with an inhale, lift your heart and arch your back. And as you exhale, round your back, tuck your chin to your chest. Inhale, begin to lift your heart and arch your back. Exhale, round the back, tuck the chin to the chest. Few more on your own time. Just noticing how the body moves. And as you move your body, as you invite these shapes to your body, do so with this offering of love and compassion. Good. Let's come back to a nice neutral spine. From here, tuck your right toes back behind you and send your right leg back. Now keep your right foot pressing down and just start to push the heel back and forward. Back and forward. Good. Just a few more. Good. And then settle back in your neutral tabletop. You can keep that foot down, or if it's available, lift that leg up to about hip height. And just like we did on our backs, let's rotate the hip open and close. Rotate the hip open and close. It might be a tiny movement for you. That's okay. If you want to keep the foot down, you can keep the foot down. Just finding that rotation in your hips. Good. And then we'll take a little bend into your right knee as you settle. Start to draw a few circles with your right knee again, just adding some blood flow into your hip. Reverse your circle. Good. And then we'll settle that right knee back down underneath our hips, and we'll take the other side. So tuck your left toes back behind you, send your left leg back. Press the ball of the foot down and just start to press your heel back and forward. Back and forward. Just gently rocking back and forth. You may feel that in your ankle, your shin, your quad, your calf, just starting to feel that length. Good. Now coming back to a nice neutral spine. Neutral tabletop, you can play with the idea of lifting that left leg up or keep the foot down, and internal and external rotation for your hip. So seeing if you can find that on either end. You might feel a little strange, a little funny, that's okay. If it's too much to be on your wrist, lower down to your forearms, that's beautiful as well. And again, the foot can be down. Good. Now as we let that settle, square your hips off, bend your right knee, rotate, draw some circles with that right knee, opening up. The circles may be small, they may be a little bit bigger. Don't worry about the size, just feel the sensations in your body. Switch directions. Cricks and cracks are welcome. Let's slowly let that right knee settle. Now from here, walk your hands forward, drop your chest, drop your shoulders nice and heavy into a puppy pose, lifting your hips up, lengthening your spine, soften your jaw, breathing deeply. Just notice how you feel here. Offering lots of breath into your body. Good. Now we'll slowly start to bring ourselves back up. Now you have a choice. You can stay on your hands and your knees or revisit your puppy pose, reaching your arms forward, or if you'd like, lift your hips into a downward facing dog, lifting those knees up. And whichever variation you're in, if you'd like to find a little bit of movement, go ahead, maybe swaying through the hips, maybe bend into one knee and the other, pedal out through the feet, maybe shake out your head. Again, we're not just taking poses and shapes for the physical benefit of them, but we're also practicing how we can offer that feeling of compassion and love to your body. So if this doesn't feel like an offering of love, you modify. Come to the hands and knees. Take your puppy pose. There's more to this practice than the physical. So much more. So see if we can just expand into that a little bit more. Let's take one more breath. And then we'll lower our knees down here and we'll send our hips back towards our heels into a child's pose. Knees as wide or as narrow as you'd like as you let your shoulders and your chest fall nice and heavy. Feel free to double up your mat for extra padding in the fronts of your knees. Feel free to roll up a pillow or a towel and place it behind your thighs there for a little extra lift. And if child's pose is not for you, throw it out. Take a comfortable seated position or move through some cats and cows. Find yourself here in a shape that feels good in your body. Reminding yourself that you can take this shape, any shape that you're in at any point, to offer your body a moment of rest and reflection anytime as we move through our practice. Good. Now from here, we'll start to bring ourselves up. Reach your arms forward on your knees. Start to shift your weight forward with your arms reaching forward, dropping your hips a little here, lifting your heart into a slight little cobra. And then breathe your hips back into a child's pose. So we'll slowly shift forward and back here. So a nice little lift up. And exhale, breathe back. Again, if you need extra padding on those knees, take it. Just feeling the fronts of your thighs and your hip flexors get a little bit more movement, a little bit more space here. Let's just take that one more time. Good. And then we'll come back through. Lift up through center. Tuck your toes and lift up and back into a downward facing dog, or again, you may be in tabletop or puppy pose. Just take a moment to really lift your hips up, lengthen your spine. Feel free to take as much of a bend into your knees in your down dog as you'd like. Good. Now from here, we'll pull ourselves forward into a plank. Taking your plank either from your hands and your feet or your hands and your knees. Feel free as well to come onto your forearms and your feet, or your forearms and your knees. I'll be on my forearms. Breathing, lengthen the back of your neck, soften your jaw. Good, and wherever you are, lower your knees down and come up to your hands if you are on your forearms. From here, we'll tuck our right toes back behind us, send our right leg back, and slowly start to rotate open towards the right side. So finding that external rotation for your hip. Left fingertips or palm are down, lifting your right arm up towards the ceiling. I'm just going to shift myself a little further forward. Good. If you'd like, you can lift that back leg up. Let it touch down at any point if it feels too much. If you'd like, reach your right arm forward. So feeling this beautiful reach forward with the arm, along with the leg. So we're finding lots of length in the waist. Good. Now from there, bend your right knee back behind you, pressing back with that hip. So we're opening up through your hip flexor. And you can stay with that or reach back towards your foot. Now, if the hand and the foot connect, start to hold on to the front of your foot and press the foot into the hand. If they don't connect, continue to reach. Feel that nice opening for your chest. And then we'll slowly begin to release that. Come back down into your tabletop position, hands and knees. Tuck your left toes back behind you. Find that external rotation as you open up towards the left. You can stay right there or lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. Now you can keep that left leg down or lift that left leg up, balancing here. Perhaps reach that left arm forward. Feel that lovely pull forward and back. So we're reaching and creating lots of space in the body. Good. And then play with the idea of bending that left leg. As you do so, you can think about pulling that left foot away from you, feeling that length in your left hip flexor. So that thigh is pressing back. Glute is really engaged. And then if you'd like, reach that left arm back. Continue to reach. Or if the foot and the hand connect, you can hold on to the front of the foot and press the foot into the hand to feel that length in the front of your thigh. Breathe. And then nice and slowly, let's release. Come back down through to your tabletop position. Stay here or take puppy pose or lift up and back into your down dog and just take some nice deep breaths here. Pressing into your palms, soften your jaw, breathe deeply. Good. Now from here, let's pull ourselves forward again. Find your plank pose, hands and feet, hands and knees, forearms and feet, or forearms and knees. Reach your heart forward and lower down to your belly, either from your hands and your knees or your hands and your feet. Find your forearms in front of you in your Sphinx pose. Elbows underneath your shoulders with your palms down, lifting your heart forward. Press the tops of the feet down into the mat as you lengthen. Soften through your jaw. Good. Then we'll lower ourselves back down. Find your palms beside your ribs. Elbows are moving back in space. Lift your heart into a nice low cobra, perhaps a higher cobra if your spine feels ready. Or stick with your Sphinx pose with your forearms and your elbows down. Good. Now as we exhale, let's slowly lower down. From here, just find a moment, bend your right knee. Reach back with your right hand. And if the foot and the hand connect, great. If not, don't worry. Continue to reach, and you can let your left forehead rest on the back of, or your forehead rest on the back of your left hand. From there, if it's available, start to press the foot into the hand, just feeling the length in the front of your thigh. Try to keep both hips down. And then we'll release to switch sides. So we'll bend our left knee. You can let your forehead rest on the back of your right hand. Reach back with your left hand, and if you can grab hold of the foot, great. If not, continue to reach. And from here, start to press the foot into the hand. So less concerned with pulling the foot into towards the glute here, which is fine. But here I want us to actively strengthen while we're lengthening. So press the foot into the hand to feel that length and keep the hips down. Good, and then let's slowly begin to release. Take a moment. And either take your forearms down in your Sphinx or find your palms down in your low cobra, high cobra, or if you'd like to take an upward facing dog, go ahead. Pressing the tops of the feet down into the mat, lifting the knees with the palms down. I'm going to stick with Sphinx pose today. That's what's feeling good. Opening up through the chest, softening through the jaw, breathing deeply. And then from here, let's lower down, reach your arms back behind you. As you reach your fingertips back, perhaps you lift your chest. Lengthen the back of the neck as the gaze is down towards the mat. Now start to think of pulling the hands towards each other. Stop where you'd like to stop. If the palms connect, interlace your fingers or choose to hook your thumbs. If not, just continue to reach through your fingertips. Or you can hold on to a towel or a strap between your hands, just to give your shoulders a little bit more space. One more breath. And lower down. Push up through the hands and knees. Tuck your toes, lifting up and back into your down dog. Take a moment to reestablish your connection with your breath. And then nice and slowly lift up onto the balls of your feet. Bend your knees, and you can either tiptoe, walk, or step your feet forward to your hands. Bend your knees there as much as you'd like. Take a moment to hang really nice and heavy over your legs. Let your head go. Give it a little shake. Maybe the hips get a little shake. If you want to hold on to opposite elbows, go ahead. Letting that spine settle a little bit more. Good, and then take a deeper bend to your knees here. Slowly start to roll yourself up. Allow your head to come up last. And once you're up, just take a few little rolls of your shoulders, lifting the shoulders up, down, back and forward, up and back, down and forward, just rolling around a little. Good, and then as you allow the shoulders to settle, ground yourself here in Tadasana, mountain pose. You can have your big toes touching, heels a sliver apart, feet hip width apart, feet wider if you'd like. Find that grounding place for yourself. And with a nice refreshing inhale, guide your arms up, lift out of your waist. As you exhale, connect your palms at center and gently bow forward over your legs. Let the head go. And then we'll find our halfway lift. So find your palms to your shins as you reach your heart forward. You could also take your hands to your thighs or hands to a block or a chair or an elevated prop. And then as you exhale, fold forward, root your palms down, step your feet back, find your plank pose, engaging your belly. Now let's lower down to the belly, either from your hands and your knees or your hands and your feet. Release your body down. And once you're down with your inhale, lift your heart into your back bend. So maybe your Sphinx, maybe your low cobra, perhaps your high cobra, or your upward facing dog. Reaching the heart forward. As you exhale, lower down, push up through to the hands and the knees, tucking your toes to lift up and back into downward facing dog, pressing into your palms, lifting the hips up and back. Inhale, lift up onto the balls of your feet, bend your knees, tiptoe walk, step, or if you'd like to hop your feet to your hands, go ahead. Now from here, hang heavy, give your hips a little shake out, find your halfway lift. Palms come to the shins, the thighs are a prop. As you exhale, fold and step your right leg back behind you. Lowering your right knee down to your mat. Feel free to double up your mat here for extra padding underneath that knee. Feel free to place your hands up on a prop. That floor feels far away from you. And you can stay right there or take your hands to your left thigh as you lift your torso up. Gentle lift away from that left hip flexor. Opening up through your chest, steady your gaze. Feel strong and stable through your legs. Reach your arms back. Continue to reach back with your fingertips or start to send the palms towards each other, maybe interlacing your fingers, hooking your thumbs, or holding onto that strap or towel between your hands. Allow your chest to open up. Steady gaze. And as you release the arms, take the hands down to frame your front foot. Take a little bend into your back knee. Reach back with your left arm. Continue to reach, or if the hand and foot connect, just gently bring the foot in towards the hand or in towards the glute. And then start to press the foot away from you towards the hand if you've got that grip. Good, nice and slowly, let's release, tuck your back toes and lift your back knee. Take a moment here, if it feels too much to have that back knee lifted, lower it back down. You can stay with your hands down or come up to the thigh. Start to lift out of your waist, reach your arms back. Reach through your fingertips or interlace your fingers or hook your thumbs or hold on to that strap or towel. Really active through that back leg. So just like we took in tabletop when we extended our leg and we pressed our heel back and forward, here we want to actively press that back heel back. Good, now as we unravel those arms, take your hands back down to frame your front foot. Take a moment to reach your heart forward. Send your weight into your front foot and step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. From here, find your palms to your shins, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, fold and step your left leg back behind you. Lower that left knee down to the mat and feel free to use any props you'd like. You can pad up that back knee. You can place your hands up on props if the floor feels far away from you. Reaching your heart forward. Stay with your hands down, or if you'd like, come up to the thigh. Give yourself a little bit more space. Lift out of the waist, hug the top inner thighs towards each other. From here, reach your arms back. Continue to reach through your fingertips or interlace your fingers, hook your thumbs, or hold on to that strap or towel, opening up through the chest as you settle the shoulders. Breathe. Take your hands back down to frame your front foot. Take a bend into your back knee. Reach back with your right hand. Stay right here, or if you've got it, you can grab hold of that foot. Now start to pull the heel towards your glute, and then find the opposite. So press the foot into the hand as you allow the hips to lower, feeling that length in your left thigh. And then nice and slowly release your hands to frame your front foot, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. If that feels too much, lower the knee back down. Stay with your hands down or come up to the thigh. Give yourself a little bit more space. Reaching your arms back, continue to reach or interlace your fingers or hook your thumbs, reaching the arms away from the body. Watch what happens with that back knee. Let's keep it really active as we press the heel back. And that right knee is moving forward in space. So there's a little bit of an opposition there. We're sending the right side of our body forward, the left side of our body back in the lower half. Good. Now as we release that, let's take our hands to frame our front foot. Step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Take a moment, hang heavy, let that spine settle. Maybe give your hips a little shake. And then find your palms to your shins, lengthen your spine, root your palms down and step your feet back to find your plank. Now set yourself up in the plank that works best for you today. I'll demonstrate a little bit here, Leanne, to refer to your chaturanga question. So here we'll lower down to the belly for our back bend. You can lower from your hands and your knees, your hands and your feet, or if you'd like, chaturanga. So I'll take that from my knees, and I'll be modifying slightly. I'd lower halfway down and lift the heart into the back bend. Hopefully that makes sense. And once I can put a little bit more weight onto my wrist, I'll demonstrate for you. So rooting those palms down, lifting your heart forward, either Sphinx, low cobra, high cobra, or up dog. And then as you exhale, lower down, push up through to the hands and the knees, tucking your toes to lift up and back into downward facing dog. There, just for a moment, as we inhale, we'll lift up onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees, tiptoe, walk, step, or hop your feet forward to your hands. Hanging heavy, let your head go. Find your palms to your shins, lengthen your spine, halfway lift. As you exhale, step your right leg back behind you. Now set up for your crescent lunge. You can lower that right knee down if that feels better for you today, or keep that knee lifted as you reach your heart forward. From there, you can stay with your hands down or come up to the thigh as we lift out of that left hip flexor. We'll reach our arms back and you can interlace your fingers, hook your thumbs, or hold on to that strap or towel. Find the legs really active. And then we'll release that grip. We'll lift our arms up overhead, pivot our back foot flat, and find ourselves in Warrior Two. With the front heel lined up with your back arch and left knee is tracking over your second toe. Press through the outer edge of that right foot. Let's take a reverse. Lifting that left arm up and back, lengthening, creating space. Now come back through to your Warrior Two and take your hands behind you. Again, you can continue to reach through your fingertips or interlace your fingers, hook your thumbs, or hold onto that strap or towel. See if you can find your legs really strong and stable. You can stay right here or start to bow forward, taking your left shoulder to the inside of your left knee for Humble Warrior. Reaching the arms away from the body, and if it feels too much on your shoulders, release your hands to your low back or allow the arms to dangle. Take a moment to let your head go. And as you actively press into your feet, bring your torso back up through to your Warrior Two. Cartwheel your hands down to meet your front foot. Pivot onto the ball of your back foot and step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Take a moment. Again, sometimes a little bit of movement, a little bit of shaking can feel really nice. Find your halfway lift. Palms come to the shins. The thighs are a prop. As you exhale, fold. Step your left leg back behind you. Set up for your crescent lunge, so you can always lower that back knee down if you'd like. Hands can be up on a prop. If and when you're ready, take your hands up to your thigh. Back leg is really active as we lift out of the waist. Hands come behind you. Either reach through your fingertips or interlace your fingers or hook your thumbs. Try to keep that strength through your legs as you allow the heart to open up here. Hug the top of your thighs towards each other. Now, as we release that grip on our hands, we'll reach our arms up overhead. Pivot our back foot flat and land into our warrior two. Setting ourselves up so our front heel lines up with our back arch. We're really active through the back line or the outer edge of that left foot. Try to keep the legs really stable. Reverse your warrior, lifting up and back. Soften your top shoulder. Lengthen out of both side waists. Now, as you come back to center, take your hands behind you. And again, continue to reach for your fingertips or interlace your fingers or hook your thumbs. Watch that right knee doesn't start to cave in. You want to keep it a nice external rotation for that hip. So we worked on that earlier. Let's try to keep that strength. Stay here or bow forward into your humble warrior with your right shoulder to the inside of your right knee. And if it feels too much to have the arms up, release your hands to your low back or allow the arms to dangle. Watch what happens with that back leg. Try to keep it really strong and active. Grounding down through your feet, engage your belly, come back up through to your warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down to meet your front foot, pivot onto the ball of your back foot, and step your back foot forward to meet your front foot. Take a moment to hang really nice and heavy, maybe give those hips a little shake. Good, now take a deeper bend to your knees, slowly start to roll yourself up, allowing your head to come up last, and once you're up, take a few little rolls of your shoulders here. Soften through your jaw. And just start to shift your weight from one foot to the other. Steady your breath. Steady your gaze. Slowly start to shift your weight into your left foot and play with the idea of lifting your right foot up. Allowing that right foot to touch down at any point. Feel free to hold on to a wall or a chair. From there, if you'd like, bend your right knee, pulling your heel towards your glute. Reach back with your right hand and grab hold of the top of your foot. If that feels far away, you could also use a strap or a towel and wrap it around your foot, extending the length of your arms. And just take a moment to notice how that feels. See if you can start to press the foot into the hand. Stay with that or continue to press and lift into a dancer pose. So you can keep your hand at your waist or hand at heart, or if you'd like, lift your arm up overhead. Come in and out of the pose as much as you'd like. That sense of compassion for yourself, for your body. Breathe. And then nice and slowly, let's come back down. Anchor your feet down, noticing how that feels. Start to shift gently from one foot to the other. Steady your gaze. Start to send your weight into your right foot. Play with the idea of lifting your left foot up. Let it touch down whenever you'd like. Or bend your left knee. Reach back and perhaps connect the foot. If not, use a strap or a towel. Or continue to reach. Being right here is enough. You don't have to use the arms. From there, if you'd like, start to press the foot into the hand. And maybe that strength and that power of pressing your foot into the hand will lift the leg. Let it stop wherever you'd like. And maybe lift that right arm up. Or keep your hand at waist or hand at heart. See if you can lengthen the mid back a little bit more instead of sort of feeling like you have to fold it in half, create more space. Good, and then nice and slowly lower back down. Start to shift your weight from one foot to the other. Take your time. Soften your jaw. Fullness in your breath. And as you shift your weight from side to side, find a moment of stillness. Standing on your feet, bringing that part of your body to mind where you could feel that experience of those who love you. Where is that in your body? Is it in your chest? Is it in your belly? Is it in your palms? Just locating it. Breathe it in. And exhale, drop your head, drop your shoulders, roll through your spine. And let everything hang down nice and heavy here. Now you can keep your feet hip width apart or even wider as we release into this forward fold. If you feel stable and if it's available, start to shift your weight into your right foot, shift your weight into your left foot, lighten up on your right foot, and cross your right foot over your left. Take a deep bend into your front knee, so your right knee is deeply bent, and start to think about lifting your back hip up, your left hip up, lengthening that back leg, but not necessarily straightening. Just take a moment, let your head go. Maybe a few little sways from side to side. Slowly, if it's available, walk your hands towards the left. Come through center, walk your hands towards the right. Come back to center, uncross those legs if you had them crossed, and take the other side. So shift your weight into your right, cross your left leg over your right. Deep bend in your left knee, that back leg is working towards the idea of length, but doesn't have to be straight. Props are great here if that floor feels far away from you. Elevate it. The head go. Slowly start to shift walk your hands towards the right. Walking your hands back to center, walk your hands towards the left. Come back through to center, unravel those legs if they were crossed. Let your head go. Root your palms down, step your feet back, lower your knees down, settle yourself onto your belly. So take your time to get there. You may want to take a brief little child's pose before you find your way to your belly. Once you're there, just take a moment to let your forehead rest. Notice the body breathing. Good. From here, let's reach our arms back. Reach through your fingertips, or if you'd like, find that same interlace or hook the thumbs or hold on to a strap or towel, finding Shavasana, lifting the chest and maybe lifting the legs. Again, only move into available space. And then nice and slowly, let's lower back down. Take a few moments, let your hips sway a little from side to side. Good. And then again, reach your arms back, interlace your fingers or hook your thumbs. Shavasana. Maybe lift the chest, maybe lift the legs. Find length in the back of your neck. And slowly lower down. Allowing the body to settle. The breath can be long and slow. Rest here if you'd like, or reach back again. Maybe find that interlace, lift the chest, maybe lift the legs. If you'd like, you can move into Dhanurasana, bending the knees, reaching back and continue to reach. Or if you've got hold of those feet, go ahead. Press the feet into the hands to gently lift up. Hugging the thighs towards each other so we're not opening up too much. Good, and with an exhale, slowly lower down. Let your forehead rest. As you bend at your knees, take a few little windshield wipers, rocking your feet from side to side. And sometimes I like to explore here on the belly. You can continue with that or just kind of explore sort of rolling the hips on the belly. So drawing a few circles. Can be you probably can't even see the movement, it's really subtle, but sometimes that can feel really nice after some back bends. Good, and then when you're ready, come on back up to your hands and your knees, tabletop position, and you can choose to move through some cats and cows in your tabletop or breathe your hips back into a child's pose, just offering a little bit more of a release in your spine. Shoulders are nice and heavy as we breathe here. Softening through your jaw. Good. In a moment, transitioning into a pigeon pose, which is not available for all of our bodies. So I'll give modifications as we move through it. And if you know a modification you love, you can move into it right now. Let's come up to downward facing dog to set ourselves up. Reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. Take your right knee to the inside of your right wrist. Lower your leg down. And then start to shift your left leg back in space. And feel free to pad up that back knee or foot if it feels like the floor is too hard. And feel free to place a nice pillow or towel underneath your right hip if that right hip is dropping down. So it's lovely to prop that up. You can stay up on your hands, or if it's available, come forward into a forward fold. Modifications, if you'd like, you can bend the back knee, take 90-90 or deer pose. So here we are. You can stay up, or you can gently fold forward, or you can take a figure 4 on your bottom with your right ankle on your left thigh, rotating your right hip open. Or feel free to, if you get thread the needle, come down to your back, rotating the right hip open, stay here, or hold on to the back of that left thigh for thread the needle. As you're there, just bringing your attention inward, we feel lots of sensations in our bodies. There's so much going on, just like out there in the world, so much going on, so many things that want to take our attention, so many sensations that want to take our attention. And just see if you can bring to mind for a moment that place where you located that feeling of love in your body. And where does that exist? And even with all of the other things going on, that is there as well. Good. Staying where you are. If you're in pigeon and you'd like for a final moment here, you can come on up, bend your back knee, pulling your heel towards the glute, and maybe reach back, grab hold of the foot. Press the foot into the hand as you start to pull the leg towards the body. So there's a little opening there. Good. And let's slowly begin to release. We'll take the other side. So if you're in another variation, feel free to move to the other side. For pigeon, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, take your front foot back, take a moment, and then lift your left leg up. Take your left knee to the inside of your left wrist, lower your right leg down, shift that right leg back, stay up or fold forward. Feel free to pad yourself up. A prop underneath your left hip is great if that hip is lowering, or feel free to take deer pose, bending here in 90-90, both knees bent, staying up or folding forward, or take your left ankle on your right thigh for figure four, or come down to your back for thread the needle. So without having to push anything away or change anything here, just notice that we have so much space. There's so much going on, but there's so much space within us to find what it is that brings us that feeling of joy and love. It's locating the physical place in your body where it lives. No matter what else is going on, that is there too. Go ahead, stay here. If whichever variation you're in, you can stay. If you want to take that little opening here for your pigeon pose, come on up, bend your back knee, reach back and grab hold of that foot. And as you bring the foot in towards the body, press the foot away as well. So we're actively strengthening and lengthening. Another breath here. And then we'll lower down. Let's come to a seated position. So if you're in pigeon, just drop to that left hip, sweep your back leg forward. Any other variation that you were in, just take a moment to bring yourself up and find any movement there that feels good. Give your legs a little shake out, and let's sit up on something. So either roll up a pillow, towel, blanket, or roll up the back of your yoga mat to sit up on something. And extend your legs forward in front of you with your feet flexed, heels down. Feel free to use a strap or a towel here. Let's begin though with our fingertips behind us, lifting out of our waist. Soften the jaw, breathe. Stay right here or start to gently bring yourself forward. Hands can be on your legs or beside your body. You can use a strap or a towel to wrap around the balls of your feet to extend the length of your arms. And let's make it really active. So thinking about your cats and cows a little bit in this pose, just take a nice inhale, lift your heart forward. And as you exhale, find a rounding, a scooping, tucking the chin towards the chest. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, rounding. One more time, inhale, lifting. Stay in this lifted position for a moment. Engage your belly a little bit more. Lengthen your tailbone. Breathe. Lengthen the back of your neck. Good, and then nice and slowly, let's come back up. Give those legs again a little shake. Let's come down to our backs. So release whatever it was you were seated on. Come on down to your back. Take a moment to hug your knees into your chest. Give your knees a good little squeeze and a few little rocks from side to side. Give your low back a nice little massage. And then then from here, let's extend our legs long on the floor. Take your right leg and cross it over your left leg. So ankle crossed on top of ankle. And from there, start to send your legs towards the left side. So just lift those feet up and gently take them towards the left side. Reaching your arms up overhead, start to shift your torso towards the left side as well. And adjust yourself so you can feel your hips lowering down, finding that beautiful side body stretch. Good, and then slowly release, come back through center. Cross your left leg over your right leg. So ankles are crossed, lift those legs up and gently shift them towards the right. As you press your hips towards the left and gently with your arms up overhead, shift your chest up and over towards the right. So we're side bend, lots of length on the left side waist. And nice and slowly come back through to center. Bend your knees, take your arms into a nice wide T position beside you. Shift your hips to the left as the knees drop to the right. Shoulders fall nice and heavy. Feel free to keep your knees stacked or cross your top knee over your bottom knee. As you allow your spine to settle, the chest falls nice and heavy. And the breath travels through the body. Ease your way back to center. Shift to the other side so the hips drop to, or shift to the right, knees drop to the left. Feel free to keep your knees stacked or cross your top knee over your bottom knee. Allowing your shoulders to fall nice and heavy here. Breath is nice and full. And as you ease your way back to center, prepare for your final posture, Shavasana. So if there are any socks or sweaters you'd like to put on, go ahead. Any sips of water or final movements you'd like to take, feel free. And then find the most comfortable position for your body to rest in today. Perhaps a corpse pose, legs extended, arms extended, eyes closed. Or Supta Baddha Konasana, taking the soles of the feet together, knees open to the side. Or take the soles of the feet to the outside of your yoga mat as your knees fall in at center. Or feel free to lie on your side, your belly. Support yourself with soft blankets, pillows. If you're comfortable, allowing the eyes to softly close as you bring the attention inward. And allow that feeling of love to radiate through your body. Relaxing your toes and your feet, your legs and your hips, your belly and your chest, your shoulders and your arms, your hands and your fingers, releasing some tension in your neck, your jaw, the space between your eyebrows, your forehead, and rest. And slowly begin to bring a greater awareness to your body. and the space around you. Perhaps invite your breath to deepen, or invite a little bit of movement back to your body, maybe wiggling the fingers, the toes, perhaps taking a nice big stretch. And from there, in the easiest way possible, bring yourself up to a nice comfortable seated position. And we will end our practice together today. Feeling the length of your spine as you bring yourself up to sit. You can allow the hands to rest beside you or on your body. Maybe one hand to heart, one hand to belly, maybe hands at heart center. And just take a moment to bow your head, reflecting on that feeling that we get when we bring the attention to mind of those who love us. And how a simple act of love and compassion, how that offering to those in our lives could affect them as well. And thank yourself for taking the time to practice today. And I thank you for sharing your practice with me. Stay well. Thanks so much, everyone. It was wonderful to be with you. Thanks for joining me. I hope to see you same time, same place next week, or on Friday, same time, same place. Again, you can always let me know if you have any questions or sharings. And thanks so much for joining me. Enjoy the day. I think it's going to be a beautiful day out there. The sun is shining. So thanks.